For months, I was treated like a nuisance. Inside the house, I built myself with calloused hands, aching knees, and a heart full of faith. But one day I got tired. If you're listening to me right now, it's because I survived. But not without scars. Today I'm going to tell the story of how my only son tried to erase me from his own home, and how I responded with the kind of silence that signs papers and changes destinies. Comment below where you're listening from, and if you've ever been made to feel like you were just a burden, you're not alone. His name is Daniel, my only son, the joy of my youth. Since he was little, I made room for him in everything. In the closet, in my time, in my heart. When he needed a new uniform, I sold costume jewelry at the market. When he needed a car for college, I dipped into the savings that were meant for my retirement. When he needed love, I split myself in 1,000 pieces to give him everything he dreamed of. So when Daniel and his new wife, Luana, asked to stay at my house for a few weeks after their wedding, I said yes without a second thought. The house was big, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and a mother's heart that still believed in family. But from day one, Luana looked at me as if she was doing me a favor. Sunglasses indoors, nose in the air, and that habit of calling me only Mrs. Irene, as if I were an employee. The first night she complained about the guest room bed. It's too hard. My back can't take it. Daniel gave me that look of do your part, Mom, and said, Mom, why don't we use your room for a few days? You're smaller. You don't need as much space. I swallowed hard. My room, my bed, the place where I slept with his father for 30 years. But I gave in, as I always did. Only what was supposed to be a few days became the beginning of the end. The next morning I went to the market early. I wanted to make a special lunch. When I came back, my bed was no longer mine. My clothes were piled in, boxes in the hallway, the bedroom door locked. I knocked, confused. Daniel came out of the kitchen as if it were the most normal thing in the world. We just got things moving ahead, Mom. It'll be more practical this way. The guest room is quieter. And behind him, Luana, hair in curlers, my satin nightgown on her body, holding a mug that said Queen. She smiled, with that toothless kind of smile. Pure poison. That night I slept in the guest room. A hard bed, a broken wardrobe door, and a cold draft seeping through a crack nobody ever fixed. My knees ached, but my soul ached more. On Sunday I tried to make Daniel's favorite dish, chicken with okra and cornmeal mush. When Luana came down, she wrinkled her nose. We ordered sushi. My digestion can't handle all that grease. Daniel didn't even look at me. They ate locked inside my room, while I ate alone at the table I bought with my very first paycheck. And there, in that silence, I had a revelation. They weren't just occupying the house. They were trying to erase me from within it. A week later, I tried to enter the bathroom off my old bedroom, the only one with a bathtub. My joints were screaming in pain. I knocked gently. Luana opened only half the door, clutching her robe to her chest. Is it an emergency? I just want to use the tub. My legs are swollen. Daniel appeared behind her with that tired, cowardly look. Mom, we've already talked about this. That bathroom is our area now. Use the other one. The other. One is slippery, Daniel. I've told you that. Figure it out, Mom. Don't make it complicated. The door closed. Not in my face. In my dignity. From that moment on, they stopped inviting me to eat. Luana recorded videos for her channel in the dining room, the very room where I celebrated all of Daniel's birthdays. My photo frames? Stashed in a cabinet labeled Donation. And on some random Tuesday, I found my wedding album under a box of cosmetics. My husband's wedding ring thrown in with expired medicine. It was that day I made my decision. I would not die in that guest room, nor in anyone's memory. I picked up the phone. I called Dr. Monica, my lawyer since 2005. I said only, I want to sell the house, but quietly. I want them to find out, when there's no turning back. That week I stopped cooking. Luana remarked aloud, I guess retirement finally kicked in, huh? She laughed. Daniel laughed too. But I just watched. I watched how they claimed every corner of the house as if it were their inheritance. I watched how they treated my silence as weakness. Little did they know that behind my silence, a sale was underway. Monica was quick. She found a cash buyer. No questions asked about who lived there. I closed the deal without a sound. I signed the papers with the same hand that once signed Daniel's school enrollment. Monica asked me, "Do you want me to deliver the notice?" "Yes, but on a Sunday, when she's made up and he's holding that mimosa glass in his hand. I want them to feel the blow in full dress." On the appointed morning, I was in the kitchen making coffee when I heard knocking at the door. Daniel answered, in his underwear and looking groggy. Outside stood Monica and the court officer, holding the envelope. "The house has been sold, sir. You have 30 days to vacate." Luana appeared behind him, disheveled. "Is this some kind of joke? You can't do this." I stood up slowly, cup still in hand. "Oh, but I can, because you never lived here. You just stayed. But the one who built all of this was me." Daniel shouted, "After everything we've done for you? You kicked me out of my own room. You threw away my history. Luana, you wore my robe, slept in the bed where my husband died, and thought I'd quietly die in the little back room." The silence that followed was the loudest sound the house had heard until that day. They left in silence. Boxes, suitcases, rented furniture. They didn't even look back. And me? I stayed. I stayed on the porch of the empty house. Ran my fingers over the walls that listened to my thoughts. Over the mark on the door where I measured Daniel's height with a colored pencil. In the corner of the living room where my husband cried when our son got into college. Then I closed the door. For the last time. I bought a small apartment near the park and the senior center. 2 bedrooms. One for me. The other for my granddaughter, if she ever wants to spend the weekend. That first night I slept better than I had in years. No footsteps in the hallway. No locked doors. No hushed voices telling me I was a burden. Tyler, my granddaughter, came to visit. She walked in with a backpack and teary eyes. "Grandma, can I stay with you for a while?" "Of course, my dear. Here you will never be a guest." That night we made cornbread cake, drank chamomile tea, and listened to old music. She asked, "Grandma, do you think he regretted it?" I think he felt it. But regret doesn't undo the deed. Only time reveals what's real. Before she went to sleep, I handed her a key. "This is yours. So you'll always have somewhere to come back to. So no one can ever push you into the guest room of your own life." She cried, and I did too. But this time, it was a gentle cry. Of relief, of peace. Because I didn't just sell a house. I sold a lie. The lie that I was weak, that my silence was submission, that a mother endures everything. She doesn't. Not always. A mother is the root. But even roots rot, if they're not cared for. Today I have fewer belongings, less space, but so much more respect. And peace. That peace that doesn't slam doors, doesn't shout, doesn't accuse. It just stays, like a hug you give yourself. Today I sleep in peace. Not because the world changed, but because I changed the lock. This story is for every woman who was treated like a burden, when she was the foundation of everything. God hasn't forgotten you, and you deserve nothing less than respect. Perguntar ao ChatGPT.